Well, we are back. It is Cameron and JL. Justin, some say we're missing our strongest, we'll say, leg of the bar stool in Teddy. He's not here with us today. RIP to his cat. They are putting him down, her down. I didn't confirm that, but they are putting a cat to sleep. Uh,
Yeah.
that's a little sad. So we'll be thinking of Teddy and his girlfriend and their cat. But today we're here to talk about some golf.
I mean, the
Justin, how
good
you
news
feeling?
is potentially less editing for you. So,
Yes.
and it might not
Our
be
editing
derailed as
time,
much.
our editing time is going to be down
Yeah.
significantly without Teddy.
There could be pros and cons to this. I mean, more
That's it.
more negatives than positives.
I'm liable to say some out of pocket stuff, but Teddy's pretty much confirmed every podcast he's going to say something crazy.
Yeah.
So uh, we're thinking about you, Ted. Good luck to you today. Justin, how's it going? What do you got going on? You're wearing a looks like a nice bright pink QZ. How you feeling? You must be feeling pretty good wearing that.
I'm feeling good. I actually love pink. I think it's great, but it also is every pink piece of clothing that I have is also picked out by my daughter. So
Hmm.
this was something she has one that is exactly like it, and she wore it for one of the parent juniors. So it
Yeah.
looked it looked nice and fun today, and it's thin. So while I'm inside all day with work and stuff, I just figured I'd throw it on.
Adds a little brightness to your day, especially I don't know what the weather's like up there. Luckily, it gets really sunny here pretty much every day, but it's been a little gloomy this week, so it's always nice to brighten things up as much as you can.
It's so sunny here. I mean, you and I basically get the same weather. We're cold. I
Mm.
mean, today's actually going to be kind of nice. I think it's supposed to be a high of 40 degrees, but we go into the weekend and it's going to be down to like 35, 30 again. So I'm supposed to play golf tomorrow. Tomorrow's supposed to be a high at 33. So we'll see how that goes.
I haven't played golf since October, and it is January 24th.
Damn.
I was going to play next week because I was supposed to travel to Hawaii for work, and I was going to play. I was probably going to be I think it's Royal Hawaiian Golf Club on Oahu, but my work trip got canceled, so won't be
Oh, that's
playing.
a bummer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. Yes, it is. But all right, on the docket today, we've got a little TGL recap. We've got 3 weeks under our belt with TGL. We'll go through our thoughts on there. We'll talk about who drives, Justin absolutely crazy on the PGA Tour broadcast, and then we'll kind of do a little mid tourney talk about the Farmers, the windy days on the gust on day two, who missed a cut, is some significant names I think that are falling a little short early in the season, and then Scotty announces he's in for Pebble Beach. So TGL, Justin, overall, what are your thoughts on and the vibes on TGL as a whole, and then kind of from there get into the nitty gritty of what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I prior to tee off on January 7th, I was such a hater for this. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna suck. PGA Tour, what are you doing? Um, I think they did a pretty good job with like the launch of it. Like that facility is one of the coolest things ever. The SoFi Center that they've got down there. The technology is really cool. I think they're still ironing things out. So for me, like the first time we watched it when it was New York versus the Bay, I was like, okay, this is cool, but obviously you've got I'm gonna say like the Bay is not gonna be super competitive, but I'm gonna guess that they're probably gonna be that mid team. New York is clearly not gonna be competitive for whatever reason. Um, and as it opened up into like Jupiter and LA, I
Mm-hmm.
thought like I had really, really high hopes. Like you guys know how much I love Kevin Kisner and Max Homa. I just think they're hilarious. And I was kind of let down by it. I'm also kind of let down that like Tiger's team just got boat raced, like
Yeah, it wasn't
Tiger
good.
and Rory. Tiger and Rory should have like the best teams, and let's watch the goat like play like the goat. But it was clear, like he's there for fun. Like it wasn't the every tournament I enter, I think I'm
I'm
gonna
trying to
win it
win, and yeah.
mentality. It was yeah, man, we're gonna have fun. I think you'll see different sides of us and da 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 da. And honestly, I think the best broadcast was the last one on January 21st with New York and
Mhm.
ATL. Billy Horschel, like, never been a huge fan. He was pretty damn funny.
Dude,
Patrick.
from his walkout
Oh
to
yeah,
like
the
to the end,
Dirty Bird.
I was really enjoying Billy, in which he grew on me over the probably the last year.
Yep,
Um, if you kind of look at him at surface level, he's a pretty easy guy to not like.
totally.
But you watch some interviews of him, you see some stuff outside of the golf course. He seems all right. I think a lot of hate too from my friends in Florida come from where their allegiances lie on colleges. Because he's a
Totally.
he's a Florida guy, and not everyone's copacetic with that. So
So Teddy should love him. Teddy should be a huge Billy fan.
right, right. I don't think he
Um,
is though.
yeah. But I think JT and Billy
No,
were awesome.
I don't think he minds them.
And then you kind of have like Patrick Cantlay, who I think like we kind of knew he's got the personality of mud. So he's not going to be
Mm-hmm.
like the mover and shaker on that one. But I think that unfortunately, like New York kind of got people are really expecting big things from Ricky to lead that team personality wise. And I don't think you're going to get a lot of excitement from the three guys that have played. But um, I don't know. It's growing on me. My question is, how am I going to feel about it in week 10?
Yeah,
We're 3 weeks in, but I think it's pretty cool. I kind of like it. And one of the things the guys said when we played last week on Saturday, we were kind of talking about it. He's like, "What else are you going to watch on a Tuesday night when there's no football and everything else on?" Well played. You know.
that's right.
What
Yeah,
what
it's
about
like
you? I mean, you had high hopes for this though. You were actually into it when it was first announced.
yeah. I've been looking forward to it. I've been interested in it. I'd prefer it to succeed than be a failure. Um, so more of an optimistic view on it. And like you said, there's stuff to work out. I mean, this is the first three matches, right? And all the other sports in the leagues that we see, really outside of live golf, they're all legacy. They've been around for decades. It's not like when the PGA Tour started, everyone was just like, "This is so sick, dude. This is
Yeah,
awesome," right? It was such a small sport. Now it's not like the biggest sport still in the sense of professional coverage, right? I mean, baseball you could turn on. There's 5 games a day during the season, right? Whereas PGA Tour, there's one tournament a week, and you know who you want to watch. Football's the same. Like anybody who likes football will literally watch any two football teams play a game.
totally.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different from a fandom perspective, but I would agree. I think the best broadcast was this last one. JT and Billy brought some personality out from their team, and I would even say Cantley was a little bit better than I expected from a kind of personality standpoint. One thing I kind of came to the realization is I think they grow the TGL like um, fan base by social media, right? Because we're not going to catch everything that these guys say during the live broadcast. But when I'm scrolling Instagram and TGL Reel pops up, and it's Patrick Cantlay like analyzing like why would we throw the hammer if we're up four? Every hole, if we have the hammer, every hole is only worth 1 point. So
Yeah,
we hinder the opposing team from trying to maximize, right? So if you have, and that kind of makes the hammer boring. Don't get me wrong, but like
totally.
getting
Yeah,
clips like that, whether it's gonna be something funny or something, I mean, maybe they are taking a little bit more serious than they give off. I think it's trending well. I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of viewers. With they've kind of bounced, over a million on that first one, I think it was, or on the
yeah. The
second one with
second one
Tiger.
with Tiger, they elapsed over 1 million viewers. That
Yeah, and I mean, they still had what almost 700,000, 800,000 on the latest one with Atlanta and New York. I mean, they have a lot of personalities that people like watching, like JT, and then I think people like watching Ricky and probably like Colin Morikawa, and I think Fitzpatrick's just not a very good simulator golfer. It seems like he was hitting
everything
so
is
many bad
pulled
shots.
left.
Yes,
Every shot he hits is just left. You're like, I mean, I was joking around with because my daughter was watching it, and I'm like, "Oh, watch this one. It's going left," and it
Yeah,
was just pulled left. It was like on command. She's like, "How did you
just
know it was
just
going left?" I'm like,
a hook left.
"Yeah, I don't know what's up with Fitzpatrick, but he cannot hit a straight ball on the simulator
Mhm.
for whatever reason." So
I'm very one thought that I've had every week while watching is like, are we seeing? Because like a lot of guys have hit bad shots, and yes, there's the technology aspect to it, right? Like we've all been on a simulator. Like, there's no way that ball only went this far. There's no way that ball went that far right or left or whatever. But I mean, Tiger Woods was hit. He hit like two wedges 20 yards past the green when he played. I mean, so
yeah,
I
and
think
you
there
could
is
hear him
probably
say
some,
like, "I never hit that far."
yeah.
Like
And
that.
Kisner saying I physically cannot hit a wedge 145 yards. There's no
Yeah,
way. Like that's not a good look for TGL, but like probably most golfers relate to that. So there's a technology aspect of, it's not going to be perfect per se. We work for a tech company and our systems aren't perfect. There's hiccups,
yeah.
right? Um, but I'm interested to see. One thing was like, is the shot clock really throwing these guys off?
I love the shot clock.
I
It's
do too. I love watching it go down. I like when it gets to 10, the crowd starts doing it, and then if it's like somebody the crowd doesn't want to hit a good shot, it'll be at like 15, and they start counting down from 10 to throw them off. I like that, but I can't help but wonder if is that like changing how they're playing golf and like their ability. Is it kind of throwing them off? Justin's frozen on my screen, so I'm going to keep talking. We'll edit this out, maybe if you're lucky. But this next week we've got Rory versus Tiger. This got to probably be the biggest number wise, match. And
all
then we
right.
got
So
Justin back.
yeah, lost you. I don't know what happened and why that lost you for 30 seconds, but I was saying like when it gets down to 15, I love hearing the heartbeat at 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's awesome. I thought it would mess people up, but I think there's
I
so
think it
many other
is.
things going on. Really? You
I
think it
think
like
what I was
yeah,
saying when you were off being frozen, I said I can't help but wonder and think that them being rushed, they're they're going to feel rushed with a 40-second shot clock on any shot, right?
yeah,
They don't have the walk to calm themselves down. It's literally one shot after the other, especially when they're playing their own ball, in the singles.
true.
Like they've had this routine for, I mean, Tiger Woods for what, 30 years,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, and
I can't
even
help
even
but
like
but attribute some of the,
pre-junior golf and stuff too. I mean, it's been the same thing.
yeah. And then I wonder, like, does the PGA Tour take some notes from TGL and figure out how to actually enforce a shot clock on the actual tour? Because I mean, we all know that they need it. Nobody Players don't want to be out there for 6 hours plus. We don't want to be sitting watching. I'll watch like a Masters round take 6 hours. That's fine, but do I want to watch a Farmers Insurance Open
No.
take 6 hour rounds? No.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's got promise. What I said at the end of my 30 seconds while you were gone is that we have Tiger versus Rory on Monday next week.
Yeah. Which is
I can't.
it's also at a different time, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
So it
is
seems like it's mounted between Monday and Tuesdays,
yep.
and then is this one later?
This one's at 6:30 Eastern time.
So
Um
earlier.
yeah, so they're doing 6:30 Eastern time and then the next one is February 4th, which is a Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
They've got to be. I imagine there's probably twofold. They want to test out times, and probably what's available to some certain degree of slots, right? Because it's
And
on ESPN.
yeah, and I'm guessing like I mean February 17th is a triple header. So
Really?
yeah, I mean starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time, it's going to have Atlanta versus LA, and then it's going Atlanta versus the Bay. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern time, it's Bay versus Boston.
So
So,
Atlanta plays twice. The Bay
and the
plays
Bay
twice.
twice. Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, that's
I
a,
have they've got to be testing things and finding out what works, which makes
yeah,
sense.
totally.
I
So,
hope I hope that, like, and I know these guys are busy, they're not going to want to be sitting around watching these matches, but I hope that they're bought in enough to where, like, say the Bay is there early before their actual first match, and they're like, watching, maybe chirping from the cheap seats, when say whoever's playing hits a bad shot or kind of talking. I think it would just add to the flair of the idea of TGL.
Yeah, I mean, so and you've watched these. I don't know, does the microphone need to be turned up or turned down? Because like with the players, I honestly I want to hear it clear. Like
Yeah,
I would rather hear what they are saying than anyone else.
I agree, and I think they're working that out too because like I think they all have songs that they have said like, yeah, I want to listen to this when I'm hitting my shot. I.e., case in point, Matt Fitzpatrick. Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis is playing every time he is swinging the golf club. DMX was all over the place
Xander.
the first one, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with, but I don't want to hear it. I want to hear
Yeah.
Xander. I want to hear people talking. I'd rather hear Cantlay talking about the hammer strategy than Oasis. Don't Look Back in Anger. I like the
100%.
song, but I agree with you. I think we got to hear more players. We have to figure out the what works when it comes to that balance of player noise, crowd noise, and music.
I mean, honestly,
Just
that's one of the things about even Live that drives me nuts on their broadcasts is that you can hear faintly in the background
mhm.
all the music playing. I'm like, I don't care about hearing what that DJ is putting out there on the course.
Yeah, and it's different for people there, right? We
Totally.
we the people there aren't listening to the announcers like we are. The people there are watching the golf. They can probably hear if they're close enough. People talk, the players, the caddies, all that.
Yep.
Um, and the music's a nice little touch. It's probably great in person, to be honest with you. Like the live, like I don't mind, but for broadcasting purposes, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. I mean, we went to the Live tournament in Portland and I obviously mentioned that a few times, but the music piece, like once you got far enough out on the course, I mean,
What is it like? 2, 3 holes maybe have music playing on them. You can just kind
no,
of
you
hear
can
it.
hear it for a while. And
Yeah,
all the music is coming from like almost the pro shop area and then like hole 18, because that's where
yeah.
they're kind of putting their music stations. And you can hear it just playing.
Except in Australia where they have the party hole.
Yeah, the party
Yeah.
hole, and then I think they had the party hole this year in Vegas. So I'm guessing
I, I
that
think I think yeah, the big venues they try to do the party hole. Like
yeah.
Australia is clearly their waste management open. Like
Yeah.
it's a big scene. Yeah.
I mean, I think TGL has more promise in my opinion than Live. One because it's not competing against the PGA Tour, right? Like they're not
Hmm.
saying, "Oh, we want your viewership on this day or when this event's going on." Their strategy of it being a downtime and playing it is, I mean, that's spot on in my opinion. They've got some fun golfers in there. I think they did a good job of putting these teams together and putting them in the cities that they did. Um, I just want to hear more from the players,
Yeah.
but it will be interesting to see because I think as we get, I mean, this is my thought. As we get farther along, we are going to see them. We're going to see good golf and kind of the personality instead of right now. I think it's like, oh, we're just seeing a little bit of personality, but the personality and the golf piece, because you kind of have to turn those things off and on. And they've never had to do that in the past, right? Like,
Yeah, these guys are professional golfers. They're not actors. They're not.
yeah,
Some of them probably aren't great people person. Like we learn, Bryson had to work on his literal personality, and now he's probably one of the most loved people in golf
totally.
around the world. With him going to YouTube and the live and doing what he's doing, and I know people who are like, yeah, Bryson's actually chill now. Who didn't like him back when the Brooks and Bryson feud was going on. Even Brooks has publicly like announced he's turned a corner on Bryson, and they seem to be buddies now, right? So
Yeah, I don't know how buddy they are with how that match went, but it was,
I don't think I think Brooks is like I don't even want to like Brooks gives me the vibes that Fitzpatrick gives me at TGL. Like with the match that Brooks and Bryson did, I was like, Brooks doesn't want to be here. You can kind of tell that, and I don't think Fitzpatrick is really enjoying his time on the TGL as from body language and just his overall demeanor. So
yeah.
but really,
Um,
what I was saying is like it just doesn't seem like, and maybe it's due to how he's playing, in front of people. Like people are watching it live and whatnot, I'd probably be in a crappy mood too if I was just pulling everything left.
Totally. Yeah, and I mean, you probably hit it spot on. I mean, they're professional golfers. They're not, the personality piece has never really had to come out. Like
Hmm.
maybe afterwards when they're not playing golf, but now they're mixing like what they do and people seeing them at the same time, and they're having to try and figure out on the fly, which many of them haven't. I mean, you like it was funny with Tiger though. You've got Tiger Woods and you've got like I mean, he's kind of retired at this point, right? Like we all want to see the big cat like perform well,
Hmm.
but he's not playing golf tournaments. And you also have Kevin Kisner, who's not playing golf tournaments. And then you've got Max Homa, who's like not playing good golf at all. Um, so like
Case in
I was
point, withdrawing during the middle of the second round
from the Farmers.
at the Farmers.
But I thought that was I thought that was going to be an awesome match. And Tiger obviously can play and have the personality, but I think you've got the other guys that are still trying to figure that out. And even with the other teams, I mean, Colin and Sahith, I mean, they're going to try and have to figure out their voice. JT at least has always been a little bit more fiery.
Yeah.
So I think him and Billy just play off of each other really, really well. So I think they'll be the more entertaining group, which honestly I wasn't looking forward to seeing Atlanta drive at all. And now I'm like rooting for him after the performance JT put on.
Yeah, he's playing just good golf overall. He
Yeah.
had a good showing last week, and then on TGL he was the stud. He was the one hitting the shots when they needed to be hit. Um,
A couple
I
death
have a
punches by putting.
yeah, and then yeah, they couldn't miss. It felt like the whole
It,
team just putt after
it
putt,
is
shot after shot.
it is pretty amazing to watch JT hit a 300 and what was it 339-yard drive and just watch Cam Young pummel it by that by 25
Yeah.
30 yards and you're like, wow, Cam, Cam's got some serious ball speed.
Yeah, I like rooting for him. He seems like a pretty likable guy in general.
Yeah.
Not that we share a name, which is also a factor.
Yeah.
But no, he seems like a likable guy, and he just hammers the ball. Like it's different. That little pause at the top and that speed coming through is just it's something else.
Yeah, he's strong. Strong like an
Because
ox.
he's not like Bryson who went and put on 20 pounds of muscle to see how far he could hit the ball. He can just naturally pummel the ball, which Bryson can too. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah. So I
um,
mean, future at TGL. I mean, I'm pretty positive on it. I think it'll be cool. I think it's going to
they
take.
got to make it more competitive. I mean,
Yeah.
we what were the first 2 weeks? It was 12-1 or something, then 9-1, and then it was 4-0. Like, yeah, the 4-0 seems competitive, but New York just
New
they
York wasn't
scored two
ever in
points
it.
in yeah they scored 2 points in two matches,
Yeah, Bay
and
versus New York was 9-2, which that wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even close. I think they kind of just got like a, oh yeah, we're out of it. You get 2 points type thing. And then
mm-hmm,
I honestly thought the 12-1 was a little bit more competitive, but geez, Kiz, you need to learn how to play golf again, man. I
yeah,
I really enjoy your
blading out of the
personality.
bunker, yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
I enjoy your personality, but holy hell, like play some golf on the weekdays. And
yeah.
then Atlanta was 4-0. So,
Yeah. I mean, the 4-0, like they went 4-0 very quickly, if I remember correctly. And then it was just
yeah.
like nobody won a hole,
Yep.
which is like, I want to see people winning holes. I want to see back and forth,
Yeah.
right? Which I hope is what we get on Monday when, I mean, Tiger and Rory, they both have financial stake in this company, in this league for it to be successful. So my question, and this kind of just popped in my head, they've got to top the 1.2 million viewers, right? Rory and Tiger going head to head.
Yeah. I don't know. That's good. I mean, do you think Rory has like the fan power to pull people to the TV like this?
He's the face of the PGA Tour right now.
That's true.
He's still like he's been around forever, and he still has the firepower. He still has the skill sets to win tournaments. Like
Yep.
he's competing, right? I I think so. I think they smoked that number personally
Yeah. I
by a
mean they
couple 100,000 at least.
yeah, I mean if they get to at least 1.2 million again, I think that's a win. But I mean they did release the roster, so it's going to be they are bringing in Tom Kim. So Max
Mm-hmm.
Hummel won't be back. Kevin Kisner, Tiger
There'll be
Woods.
some goofy personality coming in with Tom.
But he's a good golfer, man. He's
Oh,
playing good
I root
golf.
for Tom every time he's in. I'm like, I want Tom to win.
Yeah, and I mean,
He's young,
I
he's
like his
good.
playful attitude as well. And then you got Keegan Bradley, captain, right there with the dirty mustache. I think it's great. My wife
It's
told me if I ever grow a mustache like that, I'm sleeping in the garage. So game on. I might
so
have to
if
just
you ever want to
trim it
sleep
up.
in the garage, you could just shave your goatee and your
Yeah,
beard and leave the stash because you already got
yeah.
it. It's just
So you got
blended in.
Keegan Bradley, Rory, and Adam
And
Scott. I think out of the two, because I mean, I've watched a ton of videos like Lab Golf, right? They interviewed Adam Scott, and he's been on
mm-hmm.
the Golfers Journal podcast and things like that. And I think Keegan Bradley has a fiery personality where there's going to be some stuff that comes out.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think
full
Rory,
swing helped Keegan get a little bit more popular too, and then
100%.
announced as Ryder Cup captain. Yep.
But I think Rory might be the more boring out of those three, honestly. And I'm sure I'm going to get some hate on this because everyone will tell me that Adam Scott's boring, but I think if they can get Adam Scott talking, he's pretty damn funny.
Yeah. I think with it, Rory and Tiger, as the captains, they're the guys. I don't know if that's official thing like captaincy, whatever.
Well, the
Um,
first hole, it's Tiger Woods and Rory. That's who's
yeah,
teeing off. So I'm pretty
I
sure
think
that's
that's
captaincy.
I think that moment is going to be the most probably watched moment of this season of TGL.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It'll be something to look forward to for sure.
Who starts with the hammer, I would love for whoever it is to just throw the hammer right before they step on the tee box because you have to accept it before a tee shot.
Yeah. I think they are throwing out it looks like there's going to be some new holes on here as well.
Mm.
So that'll be kind of fun to see. I mean, I'm telling you, I love the kind of sci-fi-ish holes that they've got. The weirder, the better. I mean, I do want to see some of these guys go OB or go in the water or go off a cliff, things like that. I want it to be
Mm-hmm.
kind of video game-ish. I don't know. It's fun that way.
I can get behind that. I've liked every hole I've seen. I mean, you have like the spear, I think it's called, which is just like an inverted triangle on top of another triangle, point or whatever. And I mean, who I think it wasn't no, it's Cam Young hit it out of bounds on his first hole, or as a penalty. I
Yep.
like kind of the balance they have versus like realistic looking to like this is just completely out of whack. It wouldn't be possible without the simulator. I think they've got a good balance. It seems like they can make some of those holes that are 600, 700 yards long more difficult off the tee. Because, yeah, it's a long hole, but if you got Cam Young stepping up, it's like this dude could just hit it past all the toughness, right? So, and then which is just part of learning.
I think some of the holes are cool. When we were talking about like the spear, have you noticed that the spear has stadium seating, but nobody in the stadium?
Yeah, that's weird. Why aren't we putting people in the seats?
Why? Like, why is it empty?
It just like either move the stadium seats and don't put them there, or put people
Yeah.
in.
Like, what's the point of it being empty? I just don't get that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Maybe it's a limitation in the tech right now, for the actual simulating software. But I mean, you got to put people in the seats.
That is true. I mean, I played one of my buddies has the About Golf Simulator, and I played the president, or no, it was the not the President's Cup. Jeez Louise, the Ryder Cup tournament in
Mm-hmm.
Rome, that course. I played that and it had all the stands around, but it had nobody in them. So
Right.
maybe that is the technology.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I think That came out of nowhere. Excuse me. I think it's got a good future. They got to keep fine tuning. They got to keep people engaged somehow. Um, it seems like they're settling in on like you kind of go from 0 to 100 at the beginning, right? You
Yep.
get your pre interview. They do walkouts, and then it's just like, wow, we're already on hole five. You
Yeah.
know, which I think is something they'll fine tune along the way. It seemed like this last one started a little later, like the Scott Van Pelt kind of early interview with JT went a little longer, which maybe felt like it rushed everything else getting into the actual match. But overall, I like the idea of it. I like the future of it. I think they just got to keep fine tuning some things, and then also work on like we've mentioned. We got to figure out how we can hear the players better and more often. I don't like
Totally.
the playback. I want to hear it live, and then I want to watch the playback.
Yeah. I mean, I think they are probably kind of worried about what's going to be said by the players
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
they've never been live, so it's not like, oh yeah, we're don't cuss this time, guys. I'm sure that's like a worry, so that's probably the playback, but I mean, I think these guys will start figuring it out and there'll be some I think their personalities will come out a little bit more as we go. So,
Yeah, and they got to get comfortable, right? I mean, it's new to everybody playing in it. So,
totally.
Justin, you put
So,
on our. We're going to transition away from TGL. You just put a note on our little shared doc here that Marty Smith drives you crazy. Do you
well, Marty
care to
Smith is the
expand on that?
TGL announcer. Like I,
Oh,
I
my
just don't.
apologies. Yes.
Yeah, I just don't understand why. Like he provides absolutely nothing. Does please, if you like Marty Smith, please comment and tell me why.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's came from. Did he come from the football side? Was it college
No,
football?
no, he started with NASCAR coverage for ESPN.
Yeah, he never brings any value to it, and he's trying to be funny, saying some stuff. I mean, the only interview that I've liked so far that he's done was with oh my gosh, he was on Jupiter, but the got the Southern twang.
Kisner.
Lucas
Oh,
Glover.
Lucas Glover.
Yeah, he did like a full-on interview with Lucas Glover because Lucas Glover was just sitting there watching, and it was, I mean,
Yeah.
it was him not actually trying to be funny, so it went really well, and it was just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get info from Glover. But I don't know, it feels like he's one of those guys that tries to make the twang funny and tries to say things that are funny, and it just doesn't hit. I don't know. It doesn't hit for me. Does it hit for anyone else? Please tell me.
I thought it was. I didn't quite know who you were talking about at first, but now that we're talking about him, I do think it's a little weird that he was like he covers some NFL, right? He'll be on site wherever, and then he was also at the college football playoff, and then we just see him at like the TGL. I know he did some PGA stuff, PGA Tour type interviews, during tournaments last year as well, but I'm kind of 50-50 on him. He's way older than he looks, which
Yeah.
not important, but he's like 48 years old.
You know who I want to hear more from in TGL? Roger Steele. Someone at Roger Steele. You have a great personality and a presence on like social media and stuff like that, and I think you could get everyone going. Get the crowd going in the stadiums. That
Yeah.
in the stadium. That's what I want to see.
Overall, I disagree. Um,
Okay.
I'm not a huge Roger Steele guy. When I see his stuff, on Instagram, I kind of just scroll by it. I did like him at the Creator Classic,
Yeah.
at the Tour Championship. I thought he was enjoyable to watch. Then he was playing pretty good golf. He's pretty good, in his own right, at playing. But his kind of him focused on him stuff, I'm not a huge fan of.
I just think he could actually get the crowd going. And maybe
But
maybe
yes,
it's
he
not
probably
maybe
could.
it's not Roger Steele. Maybe it's just anyone else, but he is the person in the stadium that's supposed to be the hype person. He's doing the
Hmm.
announcing and all that kind of stuff. Like, let's get some chants going. Let's make it more of like a football stadium. Let's get some left versus right going. I mean, like Roger Steele could do so much with that environment, I think.
So the too long didn't read for our Marty Smith section here is less Marty, more Roger for Justin. Got it.
Pretty much. Yep, that's
Got it.
exactly it. So,
Someone at TGL let him know
yeah.
our feedback.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going straight to Tiger. They're gonna let
Mm-hmm.
him know right away.
Yep. Yep. I'm gonna text him right now. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's get to the farmers here. So, we're recording this. Round three's underway. I think Ludwig Aberg's probably through hole 8 at this point, but we're going to do a little 2 day recap with the wind gust on round two, suspending it. They suspended play right because of the wind.
Yeah,
Um,
the wind was absolutely nuts. I mean, I watched it happen on two different holes where Hideki's ball, he put it down, got over it, and it just
just
started moving.
blew a yard or
Just
two away. Yeah.
yeah, just blowing a couple feet away. It was kind of crazy. So
I was watching some highlight recaps, earlier today from it, and I mean, in the background of some of the shots they're showing, you just see trees like they're like bending over almost. So I also saw that I forget who it was, but he had a putt to make the cut,
oh my
and
gosh, that was absolutely
they
brutal.
they sounded the horn
Yeah,
right as he took the putter back, and he
and he
finished
just
his
yanked
stroke
it.
and pulled
Just
it
yanked
left.
it left.
I'd be so mad.
I think
I would
that
just
was
be so frustrated.
Fenson, Jesper Fenson.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah, he just all of a sudden pulled it, and he looks up and he's like, "Really?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, the pressure of that too. Like, I mean, he's not a highly ranked player trying to make it to the weekend to get a paycheck to pay for rent, right? So it's like,
Paycheck
damn,
and
that
points
sucks.
and yep, yep. That's brutal. We made some picks before the first round started, or right when it started. You want to go through those?
Yeah, so
We'll go through my picks first. I was way off on the cut. I picked -3 for the cut line. The cut was +1. My last place, which I'm pretty sure I solidified and gained a point from, was Jim Canoose. He was like third to last outside of the withdrawals. And then my outright winner I picked was Ludwig Aubert, who had the 18-hole lead and then was tied, or he had the 36-hole lead, I believe, or was tied for the 36-hole lead. So, uh, Justin, I was just recapping my picks while you were frozen. So,
yeah. So another 30
is it
seconds.
is it is it Jim Noose or Jim Canoose? Do you pronounce
I
the
think
K
it's
in any?
Canoes.
Yeah, I think so too. So Teddy's pick, who's not here, he picked Tony to win. Tony Finau, outright winner, and his dead last was Danny Willett, but he actually
Which,
gets a point for being closest to the cut at -1.
yeah, but he's also, I mean, the last two picks he's had for winner and last place are closer to what I was doing last year. So
Yeah,
he might get the trash crown for picks already
yeah,
early in the season. Come on,
that's
Teddy.
funny. That's funny. It's such a who knows. I mean, we know Ludwig's probably not going to be finishing anywhere near dead last in any tournament. It's probably all three of our picks are probably pretty safe picks to not be anywhere near the bottom, but he kind of got unlucky with Tony.
Yeah. I mean, Hideki is making a move. It'll be interesting to see if between Hideki and Ludwig, who actually can finish the tournament out. I mean, it's reported that Ludwig is got the flu that's kind of going
Mm-hmm.
around, and apparently that's why Max Homa also withdrew. I mean, I'd probably withdraw too if I was him and I was
10 over par.
what,
Yeah.
yeah, 10, 11 over, and it's like, yeah, things just are not going right this week, pal. And if you're that close to
So
home,
you picked Hideki to win,
yep,
right?
Hideki to win,
So you and I have
Vince Wally to DFL, and then my cut
is
was
it
two
is it
under.
Wally or is it Whaley?
I don't know. I
I'm
thought
gonna
it
go
was
Whaley.
maybe it is Whaley. The H
He
is
made
kind
the
of in a
cut.
weird spot with that, but
I mean, it's right where it is when you spell whale. Just take the Y off. You got the word whale.
yeah, that's true. We'll go with it.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, you made a good pick with your
Is the
your
one who
outright
gets the point
outright
for
winner.
that. I'm just
Um,
hoping I get a point for Hideki. I need him to keep this train alive so I can stay ahead of this.
so luckily Ludwig's got a birdie under his belt today. But I mean, look at the lineup. I mean, the leaders at 6 under. Andrew Novak, who's that? Joel Damon, we know him. Harris English, we know him. Hayden Springer shot 58 or 59 last year. We know him. And Chris Goddard. Like, those are, I mean, overall, it's probably not going to be like the best leaderboard, right? But I mean, you got Joel Damon who's playing well at the beginning of the year, which is good to see. He's a crowd
Love,
favorite after a full
yeah.
swing. But then you go to 500 and there's Danny Walker, Ludwig, Lanto, who's Chris Ventura, no idea. Ricky Castillo, no idea. Aldrich Potgieter, who just went pro, I believe, last year from was that South Africa? I think he's a big burly guy, can move it.
You
Where's
got what
where's
Wes
Hideki?
Bryant at 4 under.
Yeah, Wes Bryant's playing well, and then Hideki at 3 under. So, Hideki's right there. In sake of our competition, he's right there with Ludwig. He's only 2 shots behind. So
Well, and I mean, look at all the people at 3 under. You've got Hideki, Jason Day, Luke List,
Sahith,
Sahith,
yeah,
M,
Sungjae.
Sanjay's in there. Keegan Bradley's at 2 under. I mean, you got some firepower sitting there at 3
Mm-hmm.
under. So I think that entire group probably moves up. And I mean, at the end of today, I think they'll be sitting pretty good. And then obviously, last round is on Saturday this week because of football. So
Right. Oh man, I was looking at Zach Johnson because I know he had a great round one, 6 under, and then he shot five. Yeah, five over on round two with the
yeah,
wins.
he's even today. I mean, honestly, I think out of all the people that we listed, like tied for 12th right now is Wesley Bryant. And for him to come out yesterday and shoot a 73, and he's 1 under today, so he's going four
Mm-hmm.
under, like he was in the thick of the wind and he finished before they called it. So he had to actually play his last 3 holes in just that crazy wind before they actually put the delay on. So for him to go out and shoot a 73, he's got to feel just amazing about that.
Well, I'm gonna count how many under rounds there were from people who made the cut. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. So for people who made the cut, there was only 10 rounds under par. The lowest was tied at 69, so 3 under, which Chris Goddard up was 3 under yesterday. So
Yeah.
it seems like even par, even maybe 2 over was a decent score yesterday.
Well, and then today you take a look at Andrew Novak and Joel Damon going 4 and 3 under.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're playing some golf right now. Everyone caught up to Ludwig. That's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
And
Ludwig's
then,
behind.
and then he got the norovirus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think his caddy's just like staying a club length away from him at all times. Like, here, dude, take your
You know,
club.
I was thinking about that when I was watching the broadcast a little bit today because he grabbed his ball, gave it to him, gave him his club. I'm like, there is no way you are getting away from him, like, scratching something off of his ball or something like that,
Yeah.
handing it to him. Like, you're getting sick, dude. You're
Yep.
just going down with
Yep.
the ship.
Yeah. There's no chance it's not happening.
Yeah.
So no, it's been a decent event. I personally I like it when the weather adds because like that's one way that makes golf tough, right? These guys are so good. It's hard to make a course long enough to make it tough, make the rough long enough to make it tough because at that point they're just trying to hit as far as they can because everyone's ending up in the rough, right? But weather is completely unpredictable for the most part. Like I'm sure they knew there was wind coming, right? But you don't know the true effects until you're out there trying to hit a golf ball through it, or if there's rain or what have you, and it's not enough to call suspend the round. I'm surprised that how fast does the wind have to be for them to suspend it?
That's what I was wondering. Because I mean, you take a look at like
It's got to be high, right? I
Scotland.
mean, yeah.
But I think that's why Scotland's greens are always like, and the old course and all that kind of stuff. I think that's why those greens are always like a 10, 10 and a half because it won't move on that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like when your greens are to 12, you can't have that type of wind. So
Just a little, yeah, yep, that makes sense. But yes, to go to your point, if I'm Max home and I live a block away from the golf course, I'm going home too.
totally.
Yeah,
I mean, there were some names
block
that
away is an exaggeration, but
Well, there are some names that like just got crushed by this. I mean, Ryan Palmer's been trying to make a push in the early swing, and he hasn't been playing too well, but he's out. You got Justin Lauer, who was actually playing good last week, and he's out. Pearson Cootie, he's out. I mean, he's college sensation. Then you've got Dylan Wu and um, Tony Finau. They're both out. They missed the cut. And
Mm-hmm.
now you've even like higher, you've got Siwoo Kim, who shouldn't miss a cut at a course like this, but did. And I mean, even Aaron Rye and Shane Lowry.
Yep. Maybe Ben Griffin's new ball isn't cut out for the wind. Haha, Maxfly. We've got Siwoo miss, Steven Yeager. One impressive thing that I've noticed is we've got Jackson Coyven and uh, Luke Clanton playing some pretty decent golf for amateurs. Now, Luke Clanton is essentially a pro golfer at this point. He's getting sponsor exempts, all this kind of stuff in the tour events. I'm talking about Luke Clanton here, Justin, since your internet went out again. But Jackson Coyven and Luke, they made the cut. They're playing some decent golf. I saw somewhere that Jackson, even if he wins, he says he wouldn't go pro. He wants to finish his college career.
That's what Luke Clanton said as well.
Why? Nick
I mean,
Dunlap won, went pro, and then won again.
I'm guessing it's probably the
They
like
can't be making
American.
that much in NIL.
I'm sure it has something to do with it because they're living pretty comfortable lives.
Or maybe they're
And
making enough to where it's like I can delay my pro status for another year if I want to go win a natty. Yeah,
yeah,
I get it. Which, when I think about it that way, I kind of just changed my own mind on it. It's like it's nice to see, these kids, these young guys, kind of be loyal to these programs and go
that are
out and
paying
try
them
and
money.
go out and try and win something with them,
Yeah.
right? Because both those guys are part of programs that are going to be at the national championship.
Yep.
So that's kind of cool. It's not like basketball, right? NCAA basketball where it's a one and done. They go play for a year, then they go pro and make their money. So shout out to John Calipari for the one and done. He's who I hold responsible for the basketball one and done.
NIL is just it has ruined college sports for me, but I'm glad it's not ruining college golf.
Yeah, I mean, do you watch enough college golf for it to ruin it for you?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I'm
I would
glad Luke
say I would
Clanton.
say I wouldn't mind more coverage of college golf, better coverage. Like put some money into it, Golf Channel when you're doing the broadcasts on these larger tournaments. Like people, I think would watch it. I would watch it. You and I, we both work from home, and if we're not home, we're probably traveling, which means we spend a lot of time in a hotel room. So it's like, why wouldn't you put a little bit more money into this? Like people watch golf now. You don't have to make it like a whole PGA Tour broadcast. Don't get me wrong, but the broadcasting's a little spotty on college tournaments. Even the national championship, it's not that great.
Yeah, I mean they have gotten better at it, I will say, in the last few years. Um, but it's still, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, I would even say like LPGA Tour and college golf are on the same lines. Like they just do not do a good job with their broadcasts and what they're
Yeah.
doing. But I would love to see more college golf because like my daughter, she loves watching it. I'll record it when it's on in the middle of the day, and she comes home and just watches it to see what, some of the gals are doing on the college golf
hmm
scene.
Yeah, and I think there's probably going to be, just like men's golf has experienced over the last decade, we'll say, there's just going to be a huge growth spurt for women's golf, right? I mean, we got dads like you who have a daughter that got into golf, and there's just going to be more and more of that. And the demand might get there, pretty quickly, but it's got to be there for them to put the money into it.
It's pretty interesting. I'd say we're like 5+ years away from seeing like a big jump in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like my daughter being 13, so playing 13 to 14-year-old tournaments, there's usually like 5 to 7 girls in all of Oregon, right? Like the US kids events that we go to. Um, that 11 to 12 group, there is 10 to 20 girls that are entered every time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what happened with that age bracket, but the dads with that age bracket and the moms got those girls playing golf and they're stoked on it and they're showing
Mm-hmm.
up every week and there are some sticks at 11 to 12 years old. So
Yeah,
give that another 5, 6 years when they're rolling out of high school into college. Like I think there's going to be a huge influx of numbers when it comes to that.
it'll be interesting to see. I'm probably not going to watch it, full transparency, but
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. I got to like we're just we got a lot of stuff going on weekends. So when I like dedicate time to things, it's I kind of got like a list in my head. It's like all right, like football season. I'm obviously watching football on Sundays, college football on Saturdays, and then flip into the golf tournament if there's one going on. So unfortunately, the LPGA is kind of low on that list for me right now.
Totally. So I got a question for you, Cam. Because this is one of the few times where we're actually recording a podcast where it's live in a tournament. Usually we've made our picks and we do like a
Right.
recap. I mean, at this point, we're almost the end of the third round. The leaders are going around like hole 13. I mean, Ludwig being in the back, he just made the turn at 9 and he's even par. Are
He
you
made
still
another
taking
birdie.
Are you still taking Ludwig as your overall winner? You riding that
Yeah.
horse in, or are you jumping on to someone else?
Yep. So Lude, he went bogey bogey par par bogey birdie birdie par birdie. I think he's going to go 3 under on the back nine.
Ooh,
He's going to win.
you,
He's going to win.
you think he's gonna end up 9 under for today? At the end of today, going into final round, 9 under.
Yeah, he'll card a 3 under 69 and be 9 under par.
Okay.
The current leader's Andrew Novak right now at 7 under, and he's 5 under through 13. So the scoring's out there. I have no doubt in my mind Ludwig's a much better golfer than Andrew Novak, even if he's got norovirus.
All right.
No,
That's
I
fair.
I like Ludwig in any tournament he plays this year.
I
I
can agree with that. I mean, looking at the top, if I'm not taking Ludwig, I mean, I still think my pick at Hideki. Hideki will make a fight, and I think he's got more experience than any of these guys to make a push on the final day. And
mm-hmm.
he could change putters tonight to one of his 32 Scotties that he's carrying, and all of a sudden just come out and crush it. But I would love to see Joel Damon or Harris English like at the top.
I if you want me to root for somebody outside of like if I maybe putting like $5 on a outright winner at this point, I'd probably go Joel Damon to root for him. And then outside of Ludwig and Joel Damon, I'd go Wesley. I mean, he's 2 under through 11 today. He's tied for
Yeah,
seven. He plays like his practice is literally his YouTube channel with his brother. Like that's his golf. Like he's
and
playing
Grant.
every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like he he's somehow balancing the two. I'd like to see Wesley in more tournaments. I used to not like the guy. I liked George from the beginning,
yep,
and just like the videos I first started watching of them too. I'm like, why is Wesley the pro? George seems like he's much better, but Wesley was probably figuring some stuff out, right? But George is a great golfer in his own right too. So, but I wouldn't mind either of
I
those two winning. Like, I think that'd be pretty cool to see Wesley grab another one as like he's balancing the YouTube and pro golf life, and then Joel Damon just desperately needs a PGA Tour win to like if he wins. Like one PGA Tour win's huge for any of these guys because they lock their card up, right? And
secures his future. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and Joel's been fighting for that like the last 5 years. So, yeah, I think we'll have a pretty good finish. I think Ludwig pulls it out. We're going to be wrapping up the pod here. Um, Scotty Scheffler announces he's coming to Pebble. It's the last thing we'll say. I mean, I asked Justin what he thought, what a good over under is on wins for Scotty this year. I mean, total wins last year was 9. That includes 2 wins, on the Hero World Championship and then also the gold medal. So he had 7 PGA Tour wins. How many tour wins, Justin, do you think Scotty is going to have in
Are we talking
2024? 2025.
2025 or are we talking like you think like for the next 10
I'm
years?
talking from AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach where he's making his first start to the Tour Championship.
I don't think he starts out as hot as last year, but I think he comes in like obviously he had 7 official and 9 total with everything else. I think he's got 5 wins this year.
You think? I mean, it's a good year.
It's amazing year.
Yeah, it's a good
I
year.
mean,
I think at this point you have to expect him if he's playing. He's going to be at the top of the leaderboard during the Masters. He could easily three-peat the players with how well he plays Sawgrass.
Yep.
I mean, the guy is just a machine. He just won a month ago. He literally won the Hero a month ago. Now
Yeah, but
it's a limited field. I understand that,
I just
but he's
I wonder about his hand. You know, I mean, he's been out with his hand injury for what, 4 weeks now.
he's fine.
Like how bad was the hand, and why haven't like we seen or heard anything about it?
I bet we see pictures like when he makes his start. They'll
Yeah,
do a segment. They'll do a little 3 minute segment on it or something. Day one.
yeah. I mean, I still think he comes out with 5. What was your number?
No, I liked five. I don't think he touches 7 tour wins. Although five's kind of close to seven. If you like, he'll be in the running for like 7 or 8, right?
Yeah.
He'll have a top two or top three finish mixed in there. But I like the five number too. I think that's a pretty good bet
Well, he's the king
with
of
the
top
major.
tens.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly, him and Ludwig are like him, Ludwig and Xander. You're a safe bet. Pretty much any tournament is two top 10 on any of those three guys.
yeah. Who's your dark horse for this year that you like? I mean, obviously Scotty is gonna always be up there. Ludwig is
Hmm.
always gonna be up there. Like, I mean, and it if we're saying that the three main horses are gonna be Xander, Ludwig, and Scotty, who's like your pick outside of that?
I think Sahith Thagala has a pretty nice year. I think he has a bunch of top tens. I think he snags a win or two. It wouldn't surprise me to see him in the running in a lot of these majors coming up. Sahith Thagala, mark it down.
Yeah,
He's
I think.
also just enjoyable to watch. I love it when they go to his dad and like you can tell his dad's not a golfer.
Yep.
Like he just looks like just like a chill dad who's there to root his son on. And I really like when they pan to him and Sahith makes a birdie and his dad's going nuts, high fiving everybody around him. I mean, it's just an easy guy to root for.
Well, even I think he was crying at the TGL event. You know, like he
Yeah.
was just so stoked to see his son. So
Hmm.
uh, that always like I mean, it always gets the heartstrings going with that.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think too what plays into that is like you can tell like his dad made sacrifices to get help Sahith get where he's at. And you can it's I like when you can tell that without even talking to the person or really knowing. Like you can just see the love there, which is it's a little soft, but I appreciate it. Being a dad to a son, and it's enjoyable to watch.
100%. I think 2025 Morikawa is going to come back. I think
Yeah,
he's. I
I
mean, I
think
think
that's
he
probably a
might be a little.
safe bet too.
He might be a little bit boring personality wise, but I think we're going to see him actually. We'll see him win at least one tournament. I'm calling that.
His swing, like I'll compare him and Ludwig. Like Ludwig just looked like he picked up the golf club one day and he just had that swing. Whereas Morikawa has a swing that you can tell he has put a ton of work into to like.
Oh, he's the grinder. I think
And
ultimate.
I don't mean to take
Yeah.
away from anybody else because they all work extremely hard, right? Like I get that, but like just the look of the swing, like you can tell Collins put in a lot of hours to making his swing where it's at. And I mean, he was right there in the Masters until 15,
Yep.
right there. Duck
Yeah.
hooked it in. He didn't duck hook it, but he hooked it in the water, which is what Ludwig did too. Both of them, right? I think. I mean, we'll see Colin at the top of leaderboards in all the big tournaments, the elevated events, all of it.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't see
I
much.
hope Colin makes a comeback and wins a couple times this year.
We didn't see much of him in 2024. So that's who
No,
I'm calling really from.
outside of the Masters, it wasn't much Colin Morikawa.
Like I'd love to see a revamp of that because I think he's also super relatable compared to like just a regular everyday golfer. He doesn't hit the ball 350 yards. He's not,
Mm-mm.
a large human being. He is someone who is just
He's a small
deadly with
guy.
irons. Yeah, and
Hmm.
just
Yeah,
normal. So I'd love to see that. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I like that pick. I know Teddy's pick would probably be like Billy Horschel, so we'll just end on that one.
Go with
Teddy's
Billy.
rooting for Billy this year. So,
Yes.
all right, I think that wraps us up for the day, listeners. We just hit the hour mark here. We apologize for Justin's really terrible internet, but you know we appreciate you listening. We're the Pitchmark Collective on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Like, subscribe, leave some comments, roast us. We appreciate it all.
Yeah.
Justin, any closing words there?
No, I want to hear more comments from viewers on TGL. I want to hear a little bit more about the comments when we like make the reels and the posts on Instagram. Like leave some comments on it because I think it's just interesting to hear about other people's feedback because I think TGL is actually growing in popularity.
Yeah. I have a buddy who he's not like he likes golf. He went on the Pinehurst trip with us, but he's not like a golf nut. And he's like, "You should let me on the podcast so I can tell you from a outsider's point of view what I think of it." I'm like, "It's kind of not a bad idea." So we'll talk about it. We'll take that offline, Justin. But thank you again, listeners. Pitchmark Collective on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Like, subscribe, leave all the hateful comments you want. We'll see you next time.